Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'd like to show you how I made this really cute little envelope punchboard box. Inside I have popped some little perfume sachets which make a nice little gift for anybody. So I'll start off with, as always, telling you the cardstock we're going to use. We're going to need a piece of designer series paper which measures 6.5 inches by 6.5 inches, which is 16.5 by 16.5 centimetres. I'm using the Bundle of Love designer series paper. It's thicker than our normal designer series paper, and on the back it's got the same design but in gold. And these are the, oh no, it's just two of the designs. There's a third design and I don't have a piece within reach, but all the designs have got the same pattern on the inside in the gold. It really is beautiful. Right, so I've given you the size of that one. You also need a piece of what's this, shimmery white cardstock, and this measures 2 inches by 4 inches, which is about 5 by 10 centimetres. So I'm going to start off by doing the work with the punch board. Right, really very easy. You start off by lining your cardstock up with the 3 5/8, and make sure you go for the 5/8 between the 3 and the 4 and not come back on one. Okay, so you go from the 3 up to 5/8, so you've got 3 5/8, and at that point you punch and score. Don't slice that too hard, otherwise you will go straight through. Then move your paper up to 4 1/8, and then punch and slice again, score again. I call this slicing because this looks like a knife to me, so sorry about that. I do mean scoring. So you turn your cardstock 90 degrees and line this pointer, this here, up with your first score mark. Your first score mark being the one nearest to this point here. And then you punch and score. Move your paper so the pointer is pointing on your second score line, and then punch and score. Turn 90 degrees, line up with your first score line, punch and score. Move along to the second score line, make sure that lines up, punch and score, and then turn 90 degrees again, line up your score line, punch and score, whoops, punch and score, and then move it along again and punch and score. Okay, so if you've done it correctly, you'll find that you've got 2 dips there, like a W, 2 there, 2 there, and 2 on the side. And if you turn this around 180 degrees, so you've got this bit facing you, in here we have a corner rounder, and you need to round 3 corners. As you will see, you've got, this is quite narrow, this is quite wide, so you've got to do the 2 narrow ones and one of the long ones. Okay, so I'll do the one long one first. Okay, it just rounds the edge really nicely there. And now I'm going to do these two here. There we go, so that's all we need our punch board for. Now what I need you to do is get yourself a pencil and a ruler, and then on your grid paper, if you line up your score line, if we say the dark line here, it's, then we know which one I'm talking about. So you line that score line, which is the top one, nearest one to the point, but no, upside down, with the pointed part of the envelope pointing upwards, not the rounded ones, the pointed ones. Line that score line up with that dark line. Okay, and what you should find is that that point will come just over that dotted line there. That's not quite in, oh, it's only just in shot. Let me bring this down a bit. Right, let's do that again. Okay, so I've lined my score line up. You would have been able to see that one all right. And then my point comes just over that score line, dotted line. So what I need you to do is, if you come down 3 complete lines, so that's 1, 2, 3, that one there, and then with your ruler, make sure it's nice and straight, lining up under this line, draw a pencil line on there, and then with your scissors, cut that triangle off, but cut it this side of the pencil line so that you can cut the pencil line off altogether. Okay, let me show you that. Okay, so I've only taken off a tad more than the pencil line. Right, now we can fold all our score lines. Oh, I was going to do this side, wasn't I? Going to do, I should have scored it the other way, but never mind, I'm going to do this so that we've got a gold one. So fold on all your score lines. I thought if I do a pink one and a blue one before I start the video, then on the video I can do a gold one, and then I promptly forget about it. Never mind. The only reason it matters is because you should fold your mountain folds onto the inside of your work, and I'm not. I'm folding my valleys in, but never mind, it won't do too much harm, I hope. Right, with my scissors again, with the straight line towards me, these tabs here, that one and that one, I am just going to cut one line up to the next score line. Okay, and this side, one straight cut up to the score line. Now I'm going to turn 180 degrees. So I've now got the rounded corner towards me, and this tab I'm going to cut off altogether. So I'm going to do one line up, one line across, and that comes right off. Then I'm going to do one line up, one line across, and then that comes right off. Now we're ready to put this together. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the inside of our envelope facing downwards, and then our two little tabs I am going to put some red sticky strip on. Unfortunately we don't sell this anymore, but I just think it's the best for boxes. Right, now just a little bit there. And a little bit there. Now if you turn it so that it's facing up to you again, where you've got your two tabs, those ones there, if I turn them in so you can see where the sticky strip is. Now we're going to put sticky strip on that piece there and on that piece there. So it's either side of the red sticky strip that you've put down on your tabs. So I'm not going all the way down, I'm only going down where it starts curving round down there. And I'm doing the same on the other side. Just putting as close to the edge that I can get without actually going over the edge. And just give that a little rub with fingernail to make sure it does actually go down. Okay, so you can see how far towards the top I come and how far towards the bottom, and on this one as well. Okay, so to put this together, if you've got our watercolour pencils, you'll find the box really useful for putting this one together, and I'll show you. Paper piercer, here we go. Right, so I'm going to take this red sticky strip off, and I'm going to take this one off, Now at the moment I'm not actually thinking about sticking that tab down. It will happen automatically as we do the other bits. But I'm going to put my box to line up with this fold here, the side seam of the box. And so that tab comes round here. Okay, so make sure the tab here is going along the box. Make sure that my box is lining up all down there very nicely. So basically what it's doing is it's giving it a framework to follow. And I can see that tab is coming round really nicely. Now holding that in place, I'm bringing this up and over. Okay, so that has adhered beautifully, and if you've cut correctly, that will line up as well. Now I'm going to do the same to the other side. So first of all I'm going to take the tab, the red bit off this tab, now I'm not going to do the other bit at the moment. So what I'm doing is I'm going to bring this bit in underneath, and I'm going to guide that tab in, but I'm not doing it so that it's going to stick just yet. Okay, so they're both in underneath now. So now I'm bringing my pencil box in, and I want the pencil box to push that tab down against the back here, where my left thumb is. I'm going to hold that up correctly in the position it's going to go, push that down, and hold this in the way I want my box to go. Just slide down, slide down, slide down, just holding it all correctly. Now that bit there will have joined on now. So what I'm going to do is very carefully just lift this up, take my red backing off my sticky strip. It will come. There we go. Right, that's it. I'll pop that down there. Now before I push that down, just make sure that I'm still straight, and I got a lovely square corner there. Can you see that? So I could push that down as well now. So I have a really beautiful box that was easily done. Now I'm just going to pop my bone folder inside just to give those little tabs a press, just to make sure they are down properly. I'm sure they are, but just to make sure. Okay, so that's our box. So what we're going to do now to close this is I need to punch a hole in here, and up until earlier on, because we did this in class the other day, I was just eyeballing how to do it, and I actually made a mistake earlier, so I thought no, I'm not going to do that again. So I now see where I want my punched hole to go, and I draw a pencil mark, and once that's done I use my 1/8 of an inch handheld punch and punch a hole on that dot. Okay, so I've got that, and now I'm going to close my box the way it should be, making sure that I'm happy with how it's all lining up, and then I'm going to draw a hole through that hole, so it's down on here. Now I can use this one to punch a hole there. There we go. So now I'm going to take about 12 inches of, or did I say 10 inches? I don't remember. I'll tell you, I'm going to take 12 inches because obviously I can cut bits off. But I'll tell you once I've done this whether it should have been 10 inches. Right, so with your ribbon what you need to do is fold it in half, and this technique I learnt from Sam Hammond, so thank you Sam, I think this is great. Right, now you've got that bit in half, you're going to push it through that hole. Okay, so if you pop that on like that, the easy way is to use a pair of tweezers, push it through, and then you can use your tweezers to pull it all the way through. So what you need to do now is you need to tie this in a knot, but don't pull it tight. If you pull it tight it will finish up so small that a little bit of a pull on it and it will come through the hole there. Okay, so just push it to the end as much as possible, and then that should be fine. I'm not going to do it any smaller than that. So that comes through there. I'm going to take one of my sachets, blue one. It's not quite the same blue, but that's fine. It smells absolutely gorgeous. So now I'm going to put these two ribbons through that hole. There we go. Now make sure they come through straight. I think that's straight, okay, make sure that's... I find it easier when I get my ribbons so that they lay down flat like that. I find it's the easiest way to to fold a good bow. So what I do is just keeping my ribbon flat, okay, so it's flat both sides, and this bit's flat as, you can't see that, can you? So that bit's flat as well, okay, and then I'm going to fold that over, keeping it flat, don't letting it twist at all, and then pushing it through there, Again, don't let it twist. And you should finish up with a reasonable bow. And that one's got to come over there. Pull that one down, that one down, pull that one down a bit more, pull it tight. There we go. There's not much point worrying too much about getting a really lovely tidy bow, because this is a pouch that's going to be opened and closed. So there we go, that's that bit. I will just tidy the ends, and I think the 12 inches is probably right there. Oops, the wrong scissors. Ribbon scissors. That's better. And then just cut this one at an angle as well. Okay, so that's fine for that. Now for the little tag, which is this one here. This is from a stamp set called A Little Wild, and these stamps here have coordinating dies to them, so that it gets cut out as a double like that, and then you can fold them in half to create these little tags. Okay, so there's a little line on the back there, that's his back bit, and that's his front bit, and there's a little stamp for the to and from as well, if you wanted to do that. Right, so I'm going to use the lion, which is here, and my 2 by 4 inches shimmery white. I use the watercolour pencils to colour my lion, but I found that I either had the choice between orange or brown, but I wanted more of a gingery sort of colour. There we go. So I'm going to show you how I achieved that. Right, I've already started this one to save us a bit of time, and using my watercolour pencils, I use the pumpkin pie and the early espresso. Very gently, I just go and colour all of the lion first of all. I don't press hard on this because I want him to be this sort of lightish colour. One of the ladies at my classes on Saturday, when she did her colouring, she did the outside, the mane, the lion's mane, she did as a lot darker than the face, and it really did look nice. I'm not much of a painter, as much as I enjoy colouring, so for me I'll settle for whatever I get. And I do prefer to do circular lines. I think it helps avoid getting any straight lines on the work. Right, and then his tail. And then the body. Okay, so nice and easy, nothing difficult about this. And then I'm going to take the orange and I'm going to colour on top, or I should say pumpkin pie. You can use an aqua painter once you've done this, but I prefer to use our blender pens. I think they're absolutely brilliant. I don't seem to be able to control the aqua pens. I always find that too much water comes out of them. Okay, so we'll go over the face as well. Before I forget, I will come back with the brown just to give him a solid brown nose. Right, and now his body. I love watercolour pencils. I was so pleased when I found out that Stampin' Up were bringing them back again. I think it's a lovely way of colouring. When my granddaughter was 5, she used to come to card making classes with me, and she loved using the watercolour pencils. Right, there we go. That's that. Now I'm going to take a blender pen. Just make sure it's clean. I do try and remember to put them away clean, but I'm not perfect. Right, okay. Now, again, I'm going to do circular movements with my pen. And this just blends the two colours together. And gives a, as far as I'm concerned, a much better colour for a lion. Turn it around sideways, feel more comfortable like that. Right, I'm avoiding his nose. You can leave colouring done by watercolour pencils as colouring. You don't have to blend them if you don't want to. There we go, and then just his tail. So he's okay. So pleased with that. If I've got a scrap of paper here. Just turn that round as you're rubbing it, and that cleans it off. Even if it stains, it doesn't matter. That won't come off on the next bit of colouring. That orange would have done though. Right, so I need to die cut that, but before I do that, I don't like those dots for eyes. So what I do is a little like half circle around the base of the eye, and then over the top. And make that a little bit bigger. I just think it gives the eyes a little bit more character. Trouble is, there's never two eyes the same. Makes him look a little bit like, was it Clarence, cross-eyed lion, or was it a tiger? Don't know, but there you go. That's mine. I feel happier with him with his eyes like that. Right, I'm going to bring my big shot up now so that I can die cut this. Move everything out of the way. So this is a set of dies called Little Loves. So that's for the bear, that's for the elephants, that's for the beehives, the flowers and the bees, and this is a decorative strip. So just pop that on there. I've only got one. That's got a dip in it. So it's better for the dip to go downwards if you're using the magnetic plate. Otherwise it doesn't grip. Right, there we go, that's that. There we go, so that's how the lion gets die cut. So let's pop this out of the way now, I don't need this. And then just fold it in half. In this stamp set there is also, let me show you, this to and from, which you can use or you can go without. I think it's quite a nice idea, so I do prefer to use it. So it goes on the side with the hole. Make sure I've got it up the right way. There we go. So just fold that in half. And then I did start off by using our linen thread. But after I'd made that one, I noticed that I've got some gold cord, and I thought as I'm using the gold side here, I'm going to use this to attach him. So what I do on this one is I fold this in half, put those two through the hole, loop that through, and then before I tie the bow I take a glue dot and pop that on the back of the hole there so that it actually holds on to the cord. I'd do exactly the same if I was using the linen thread as well. So once I've done that, then I can pop that where I want it to be, knowing that that's not, the cord isn't going to go walkabouts at all, and then tie myself a bow, which I have to say I didn't find this gold thread as easy to tie as the linen thread is. Although this time it's gone nice and easy. So there we go, that's that. And this one I will cut short because it's going to stay as it is. There's that, and there's that. Oops, no. Let's try that again. That's better. So there we go, that's today's project. I really hope you like this and hope you give it a try. It really is, as you saw, very easy. I'm not going to try and do that one up on screen. I'll just hold it closed. Many thanks for joining me today. If you have any questions or any comments to make, if you click on the arrow, the second arrow below the video, that'll open up the box and there'll be a place in there for you to write. Or you can email me at JanB at janbcards.com. If you'd like to purchase any of the products that I featured here today, I'm not sure that gold cord is still available. In fact, I'm sure it isn't, because that was available last Christmas, which is why I had it. But everything else you can buy from my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop, and again in the box below there'll be a link for that. I'll also put all the products that I've used and the product codes and the measurements in the box below for you, so everything's all really very nice and handy. And finally, if you've enjoyed my video and you'd like to be notified each time I upload a new one, which is normally Wednesdays and Sundays, please click on the subscribe button. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.